There we go.
Yeah, it's ready.
So
Go ahead.
it does.
We're rolling.
Okay. We're gonna move without Rob real quick. He's gonna come in midstream.
Court, something like that.
Court, stuff to do. Stuff to do. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call
Jennifer Schultz,
here.
Mike Hayes, Jennifer Watkins,
Here.
Tom Powell, Chris Hunt, and Kit Williams.
Okay, welcome everyone. We'll get this thing moving here. Consent agenda. There's a lot in it. You guys read through it, I assume.
We did add made sure the code compliance report is in there.
Yes, I saw it.
There's quite a few on the list.
I guess, and a lot of non-completed. Lisa's just glad that's not her list right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
And also we have first report from the library and the consent agenda, which I think is
oh, I like that.
really good.
I liked that. That's something new we hadn't seen in a while.
Right.
We'll take it. Updates were great. Did you guys have any questions about the,
I did have a couple of questions on
One-
on the code compliance
uh-huh,
report.
Mm-hmm.
That's dating back till July of last year. Is that correct?
I think it's all the ones that are in process. He's got one. There are some,
I noticed at the bottom of the report, there were some from 2024. That's why I was asking.
yeah,
when they start. I was reading that too. It's like when they start, he does the starting date and then it just keeps going
I
down.
understand.
But yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. There's quite a few on there that aren't complete.
but what the report doesn't show that there are quite a few that are complete.
Right. I think his report needs some.
Yeah, I'd like
work.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see the numbers of adjudicated or completed.
I would too. And
Okay.
I don't know if that report really told us anything. I feel like we know that things are in process, but
Right. Like at first glance, you look at that, that's all the problems we had. And then, you know, so I think it would be good to, once he opens a file, to have that indicated in the report. He can always take it off when it's settled or cleared.
I think just a monthly
Yeah.
report of what's still going on.
Says complete. Complete extension, not complete.
There's a few that do, but then the rest are just kind of hanging there. You don't know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So- Now we'll talk with him and actually, this assistant said they're trying to figure out what the city wants to see on the report.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
There isn't, this has the block number, not the
Yeah, we,
legal thing.
it's like
It just,
this courtesy and private information. It's like on the police report, they never give the house number. It's just since we are talking about violations.
That's gonna make it harder to know if it's complete as well, because there's two on 500 block North 8, so
right.
you see what I'm saying? So that's why I was asking. But there we go.
I think the report needs some work, so probably detailing that a little more, just so we don't need every detail, but something.
Okay.
That says, here's my monthly, what's been accomplished, what I'm still working on.
You know, it's kind of based on so much an hour for so many hours a month.
Yeah, that didn't tell us anything.
No.
And that's gonna help him in budget talks. It just
That's
is.
gonna help him when he figures out if he's bid contracts too low to.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, that's just what it is. So, okay. So that's the discussion about the code compliance. Does anything else need to be pulled out of there to talk about before we? Good? All right. Then I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll motion that we approve the consent agenda for April 2025, May 14th, 2025 council meeting, with the stipulation that the city treasurer will authenticate the financial statement.
Oh, yes.
Good call. Yeah, I did see
Yep.
that. Second by Kit, all in favor? Okay, all passes. By signing, okay. Presentation and guest speakers, none scheduled. Up to old business, water system design proposals.
Yeah, so we had our, I think it was last Thursday, we had our, next meeting with, JEO. They were trying to get more input from city staff and those who want to, about the design and what we would like to see in the design. My suggestion to them was the observation meter pits that they were going to put in were overkill. Basically, those meter pits were going to be at least 7 foot in diameter, and where we're going to put those, I don't know. They were scheduled like 17 around the city. Anyway, they agreed that they were not a necessity. But the other thing that was suggested, you know, we start out with 2 options, option A and option B for phase 1, and that was option A was to put in trunk lines. Option B was to start with the lines that are bad. And I said, why don't we kill 2 birds with 1 stone? And if the trunk lines don't have to go any place in particular, then why don't we put them in such a way that they wipe out a good chunk of the bad water lines? So this is their next draft that they sent out. Basically, instead of replacing water lines individually, we use the trunk lines to wipe those out and build something substantial to connect to.
So they're in this particular phase, they're talking about 7,800 linear feet of 8-inch and 6,000 feet of 6-inch, is that correct?
Yes.
Have they
Yes.
given you any approximation of cost per linear foot?
I think that was in the proposal. I should have pulled out the water meter or the water evaluation. I think that was approximately the same combination of linear feet for the 2 trunk line proposals. So as far as costs go, I can't tell you right now because I didn't pull those figures. But this was essentially, what do you think about this? And then if that was a path that we wanted to go down, then they would start putting real costs together. Also, you know, all these trunk lines or major lines are going to have new valves all the way through them, and every line that connects to them are going to have new valves. So just with the new valve system, it should help us to locate bad lines easier.
Will we be able to isolate
Mhm.
sections?
Yeah.
More easily, more readily?
You can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, the valve
yes.
itself, you can see it, but
Every valve,
Do we have any current way to isolate a specific section by shutting off, we'll say, every house in a 5-block area for 5 minutes and seeing if we're still getting water coming through the tower or whatever? We don't have any meters in the line now, do we? It's only metered at the tower.
Yeah, I mean, the only way we could really do that is isolate the section.
I don't think you
And
can,
then-
because you'd have to shut off the whole town to see if water's still flowing.
No.
that's unrealistic.
Hmm?
That's unrealistic. You'd have to walk around.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What you're asking is unrealistic.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to shut off this section for 5 minutes. How do you, I mean, even if you have a meter, your meter doesn't just stop immediately.
Right,
Right.
So you'd have to have somebody or people walking up and down looking at these meters.
right. Okay.
So, yeah, and so right now, we don't have the ability to do that because our valves in a lot of places don't work.
Right.
Once we get the valves all updated and the valves work, then we can find, they can squeal the valves and then find water that's blowing by that shouldn't be blowing by.
Okay.
And this will do that.
What's that?
And this will do that.
New lines will.
Yeah.
It'll give us more
opportunity to do that.
More's coming from here, or we're losing more here.
Replaces bad valves. That's some bad valves.
Right. But we're also chasing the water loss.
Well, this is gonna get rid of a lot of the bad lines of where the water loss is currently. I mean, yeah, we can't pinpoint it because there's thousands of water loss spots.
Yep.
So if you go in and you, instead of replacing what used to be a 2-inch line, let's say, just an example, on 10th Street, so you're, any inch you replace of that, you're protecting water loss, or you're preventing water loss. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you go with a 2-inch or 8-inch,
Right.
you're just getting rid of the bad piping that's in
Right.
there. So that's what this is gonna cause. It's gonna get rid of bad pipe.
Why do we see so much variation in water loss percentages, water loss gallons? I mean, we may show 1 million this week or this month and 1.5 million.
Yeah, that, honestly, I can't tell you.
I
It
thought
could
maybe
be,
JEO might have had an idea.
yeah. I have asked them that on the onset, and I think they said it could be tied to usage, tied to pressure, tied to how much time the tower stays at a higher level, because the higher level of, the higher full it is, like a better
Water
term,
loss, yeah, potentially.
the more pressure.
Right.
But, just for what it's worth, if all of our valves in town were brand new and worked perfectly, we could find this. But the fact is, we can't. There's some areas when they've tried to replace the fire hydrant, they can't get the thing shut down because the valves just don't shut. So
All right.
I think at this point, basically the engineering company is saying, what do you all think about this option? If you think it's more viable than the others, then they'll pursue costs and more definite answers.
The only thing I struggle with is these are critical ones that we've seen a lot of leaks at, that we've gone to.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is so what if it's on all the other streets? And here we
My
are.
question all
Yeah, and that's
along. What if we do section A and everything?
And nothing
We still have the same
changes.
water loss. So
Yeah.
that's been $1 million.
that's exactly what I said to them is,
Yeah, so I mean, I get that we're taking, I mean, if you take the critical ones where we're always at, I mean, it's like the notorious, here we are going back to, 10th and whatever, Highland, and let's obviously do that one, but I don't get this doesn't make any sense to me, but,
well, so what they did was they took the map that the guys had designated which lines they knew were bad,
okay.
and
So there is something to that.
they tried to track that to wipe out
Okay,
wipe out the majority of those lines with the trunk lines.
well, that's good, because I just wondered if it was just hey, let's do these main ones. Or if it is a notorious leak.
Well, if you think about it this way, change your mindset just a little bit,
I'm gonna try.
they're all bad.
Okay. Yeah,
Some are just.
so
gonna be
just
worse
get
than
started.
others.
So
Right.
just get
So
started.
for every inch you replace, for every foot if you want, we're minimizing the water loss already.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's. how I
that's a
think
good
about it.
point. I mean, and your thoughts prior to the, whatever, 4 meetings ago, just start at one end of town and make your way
Yeah.
across town.
I mean,
I don't see anything wrong with that either as we can go, because at least then I like that philosophy and that procedure, because at least then hey, we got this accomplished. Look how much we've saved.
You know
We
that
got
old
this
8-inch
accomplished,
out there,
look how
the
much we
old
saved.
tower's gotta be sucking eggs.
I'm sure. And this is, this is your trunk line. This is the mains, the water mains that you're talking about. When I was talking about, drilling or shooting or however we end up doing it, that's separate from this. So this, that, once this is put in,
Okay, so this is a good idea.
absolutely. And in my opinion, it is.
Okay, so it's a good idea going after the big stuff and then start putting in the little
Yeah,
guys.
then you got, like I said, if you, however we all decide or whatever, if you want, if we wanted to buy a drill or something, we got people that can learn how to do that. They spend, take three blocks, and
Make that a project.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
project.
and I mean,
Just
they know
work down
exactly what they're doing the next morning. There's no thought. All of a sudden, they're done with 3 blocks and, in 2 weeks or
I
3
think they'll
weeks.
get better at it as they go.
Yeah.
too.
And it is, so,
Okay. Well, I guess when they price it out, we'll see if this is a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And talking, just throwing this out there, we're talking about our guys. Ryland Rose passed his wastewater certification.
Nice.
So he is fully certified in water and wastewater,
Okay.
which is huge.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now he's hireable everywhere else. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Okay. Thank you. What else?
That's it for that.
On this, okay.
And basically, it's the sales tax discussion. If we're using sales tax to help cover the debt on that, it should generate about 180 to 190,000 a year. Should, depending on, or if you look at the trend from 2020 till now, it's continuing to grow because people are ordering lots more online. Now, if we have an economic downturn, that goes down.
Either if it becomes an undesirable place to live, it goes down.
Well,
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
People have to be here to spend the money to generate sales.
to do it. Yep. Okie dokie. Main Street. Update on the building.
Is that
Miss Lisa.
We haven't had your resolution, on the, Mr. Jones's building downtown at this point. You also have my officer's statement. Noting the details of where we're at on this building. What I put in front of you with the resolution is, this resolution would set a hearing in 2 months. It's the first step in this. It would be published, a copy will be given to Mr. Jones. And at that 2 months, then we would have a hearing and decide the fate of the building and or the progress, which however it is in 2 months. So I'm asking for your approval of this resolution. Do you have any questions?
I noticed that on the west side of that building, I noticed that on the west side of that building, there's been some excavation. It looks like some barricades out there. Are we doing some structural analysis on that
Not
building?
that I'm aware of. I know there's barricades there to try to keep folks out. I'm not aware of any.
Do we have a structural engineering analysis on the building?
No.
So.
No.
Okay.
That's what's brought us to this point. Nothing more than we had prior, shall I
Okay,
say.
we haven't had anything else done. And what's been the progress with the plans and those kinds of things being delivered to JEO or whoever they need to be delivered to?
They've not received what has been asked for.
basically just put a timeline on this.
One more time.
So we're putting a timeline on it.
In 2 months, we would come back and have a hearing. Yes. We had a timeline previously and it has all expired.
Yeah, I think they made a motion that we pass it till this meeting, last meeting, so.
Yeah. The itemized 1 through 7 is what's gone on so far. You guys see. And then things of the procedures or things that need to be done up until a certain point were not done. No, not right now. Let us discuss. And this just gives a 2-month set in stone sort of thing for us to be able to move on anything that needs to happen, because we got, 2 months. It's fair.
You know, I understand there are some issues with the building, obviously. There've been some issues with getting things accomplished on the building, and some of those were obviously beyond Mr. Jones' control, but by the same token. But I
Certainly.
still take it very seriously when we're talking about demolishing somebody's property. If we're going to have a hearing, I would like to see structural analysis.
Okay.
Whether or not that building is in fact a hazard.
So, yeah, but that's not on our responsibility.
Right.
That's
City's costs, yeah, it doesn't go on the city's bill.
Okay.
And that's what they've been asking for. And on last meeting
yeah.
and the meeting before that.
Yeah.
That was requested. And therefore this resolution has come about because we do not have that information. And there are other buildings and other businesses that are attached, that are open and would need the same treatment and same fair procedures going on by the city council if we're gonna.
We have an approximate cost of what it would cost to demolish that building.
Do not have a cost yet.
So I think it was, I don't remember what the cost was to demolish the gas station, but it surely wouldn't be that much because there's not much to demolish, but.
We've got a lot of bricks to haul off.
Yeah.
Those are intertwined
The
buildings,
cost.
they're not standalone buildings. Attached to my building.
Yeah,
So what happens when
Right,
take that
it's,
down and they Gambinos? Because they're intertwined.
mm-hmm, go ahead.
What happens is what, to Gambinos, I'm sorry.
Well, if you take the structure,
That
what
one.
left, what structure is left on that building?
That's where we would have to bring in our structural engineer before we even
Right.
attempted that, because, that adjoining wall would have to remain. And any structure or support that would need
That's
to be
what I
done
was
to
asking if we
ensure the safety of Gambinos and their structure would have to be done, and we'd have to pull our engineer in. And all these costs would be definitely assessed to the property, we would not.
And I think that's fine. I wasn't asking the city to be on the hook, but I think we need to make sure of what we're doing and dot the i's and cross the t's
Right.
as far as the adjoining
We
building.
are step by step.
Well, as far as the resolution, you see motion for a resolution.
Right, this is like taking the next step.
Make a motion for resolution number 2024-04 as written.
5.
I'm sorry, it's 2025 dash
Sorry,
003
2025.
dash 03.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
You told me 4.
no, I did, but it's 3.
Okay.
Okay.
We got to change,
Okay. Sorry.
Make a motion for resolution number 2025-030. Make sure that's on there.
Yes.
As everything else as written.
Okay, any second?
Second.
Second by Kit, all in favor?
I
All ayes, passes.
was hopefully protecting the other business.
It's fine.
Oh. Okay, yeah, let's hope we don't get to this. It's not our intention.
Unfortunate thing.
It's, we need to do that for every building.
Public safety.
Public safety, it's what it's about. All right,
And protecting the other business.
Right. Let me, throw this out there real quick about, fire truck transfer, rural fire district number 11 is going to assume the, lease agreement from Vintage Bank. Vintage Bank has requested, so we got a legal document stating that, that the city is going to transfer the lease to the fire district, and the fire district is willing to accept it. Rob has drafted a document, and I was going to talk to him about it when he gets here. I think we can address that with him.
so we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Good, we'll see that one.
It's an add-on.
Isn't it? Yeah. I just got notice, from Vintage Bank, after 5 o'clock that, they agree to using this document.
But if the fire department doesn't do that, city has to pay for it.
No,
They'll be getting ideas.
Strong.
we can repossess the fire truck.
Not a bad thing either.
Hey,
Coming up with all the ideas. Win-win. Okay, so we'll talk with Rob about that. Were you
All right.
talking budget?
budget, I would like to not necessarily go too in-depth into the budget since it's a long discussion and, we had talked about at the end of the workshop, we talked about scheduling another 2 workshops between now and the time we turn this into the county. The staff and I have gone through today, and for the last 3 days, gone through to see where we can whittle the general fund, and we did whittle it down another, I think, 20,000 over what we were talking about last Thursday. Some of the things that are different in 26, I had proposed, here's number 1 proposal. Would y'all be all right if we did away with the meals at the meetings? Pizza,
Fine with me.
Okay.
I've been asking.
that saves $800.
Boom.
We're reducing, repairs and maintenance to the building here or public, this building and, public works building to the maintenance shop. About $1,500 specifically for the administration. $1,500 would cut $1,000 out of that. $700 out of miscellaneous services. Anyway, it just goes on and on. Office equipment, we're cutting that down to 700 from about $1,200. Reducing some of our software fees. Reducing some of our software fees. Let's see. One thing that did bump up, well, I wouldn't say it bumped up, but I'm dispersing our insurance more appropriately throughout the departments. Let's see here.
The mayor fund doesn't have to be, I mean, that's, it's contributions to the community.
Yeah, so that,
We don't have to keep it.
No, but I think you're gonna have to have a resolution or an ordinance change, because that money is allegedly council salary. that we
Right.
generate Back, so you're gonna have to change the council story without.
I think you figure out that.
Right,
I'll
but
go after the
there-
pool before we go after the,
Huh?
I'll go after the pool before we go after that.
Okay, there we go. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just saying that there are some things there we can start whittling away at, and it's giving to the community, which we do.
Have we picked
That-
a date for another workshop?
We
no,
will tonight.
yes, we will tonight. And just throwing this out here, the pool, for what it's worth, cost us $60,000 a year. $64,000 a year last year. I talked with the pool manager, and we're gonna try to rein in, or not rein in, but try to use less labor. It's hard to do with the pool because they're
Again, safety.
safety,
We
right?
cannot,
So what we've talked about in the workshop, we talked about reducing the pool hours or pool days down to 3 days a week instead of 6. And talking with the pool manager, really it's gonna be hard to even justify doing it because he's not gonna find kids to work just for 3 days. So what we did discuss was cutting out Saturdays. You would think that Saturdays would be a bigger day, and really they're all pretty much comparable. Maybe Monday, I don't know, but cut out one of the days. And then we talked about, instead of leaving it open until, I think year before last, we left it open until August 12th. We left it open until August 8th. Last year, we're talking about closing it on August 3rd. because to run the thing. That's supplies, that does not include water. Water is not in the pool budget. And now that we've gone to a well, that does cut our water fund expenses down. It will probably cut it down by about $5,000. But if we can shorten the season, and then also one of the things he has problems with in the tail end of the season is his staff is going on family vacations, so he has a harder time finding staff to staff it.
Qualified, licensed staff.
Yeah, right.
So we looked at, you have X amount of lifeguards, because those styles work, right? X amount of lifeguards, X amount of kids, blah, 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 or people, not just kids. Have you looked at if you only have X amount of lifeguards, whatever that number of kids are, doors are shut until somebody leaves? And I mean, I hate to think that way, but it is a possibility to do something like that as well.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's a possibility.
I don't like it. I'm just saying it could be an option.
Right.
That's
And
one option we've talked about every option,
Yeah.
but that isn't one that we did discuss.
I mean, I don't love it.
maybe you have like a capacity.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
capacity, and that's what we have for today, you know?
I mean, it's similar to how daycares run. You only get so many infants and then you don't get to take anymore.
And like I said, I love it, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy the pool.
I agree, but if we can't afford, we have streets to fix and water lines to fix, and right now the pool is a big chunk of what we could do. I'm not in love with any of the idea of shutting it down or reducing it, but we have
I don't
been,
think it should close.
it's been a lot of discussion about where we find $60,000. 111, what was 100 days? Wasn't even 100 days,
No, it was
Not even
11
100.
weeks, 11 weeks, so
11 weeks.
66 days.
60,000. If you put it to just monetary value, it's crazy.
It is.
If you put it to all the other benefits that it provides for the community, it's not so crazy, but we still need to figure out how to make the most of our buck. And if Charlie's willing to do a lot of tightening up the belt, that's great. $980 a day seems,
Crazy.
wow.
So, according to our attendance records, so the kids, they keep track of how many kids came in. We put that, and we've got that. So our average attendance season wide is 41 kids.
Yeah, so we say have 40 kids. That's how many is 3 lifeguards? 2,
I don't know.
something like that, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Whatever. If it goes over that, we don't have lifeguards. I'm sorry.
Or we get a bus and bus them to a pool for 1/16 of the cost.
That's how it was in Wichita.
I know. We talked about, you don't have to worry about the pool, the equipment, the lifeguards.
I don't like it.
I know, nobody likes it.
I mean, another
Nobody
piece
likes
of
it.
the pool discussion is that
There's so many options.
there are so many options. Right, Park City is looking at building an $8 million pool facility.
What's Park City?
The YMCA in Andover has their new stuff open, the El Dorado pools, you know, there's so many good big pools, but this one is the hometown pool and kids don't get rides a lot to the other ones. So we just we're kind of in a pickle right now.
Yeah, you gonna drive the bus?
I'd rather spend the money and have the kids here, and it's not a favorable, I'm sure, but if we had to even raise something, you'd pull up and I would go for
As
it.
we said, yeah, do or do a campaign to save the pool. We talked about that at the workshop. If we do want to keep it open and people realize it's 980 per day, then, you know, how many boils can you have? You see, one a weekend,
Not a lot.
a lot. He's already tired. Anyway, that is something that we're discussing, but it'll be a minute.
And what it all boils
We got a lot
down
of
to is that our streets are in bad condition. And we've got a lot of,
And water loss.
yeah, and so how do we increase the money that we put into those funds to get that taken care of? Because that comes out of general fund. And general fund is tied to your property taxes.
So we raise the mill levy 5 and we don't cut, we're gonna have the room full of people upset about their taxes. So we're trying to be as responsible as we can and make the most sense of it and put our money where it matters, which is what we've done for years. However, things are falling apart.
Right.
I mean, similar to our bodies, things fall apart over time. There's nothing we can do except you don't want to fix something such as a water line that's not broken until it's broken. You don't want to, the streets until they're not drivable. They're getting close.
So,
Some of them are getting close. That report was funny, whoever did that.
yeah, so I had the maintenance crew go through and do an inventory of our streets. It's at the tail end of your packet. But when
It
Ryland
wasn't really funny.
figured out how much it would be, just in material, he was pretty close to what the material cost we got from Pearson Construction for materials.
Did you see that thing?
Mhm.
Did you guys read that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not funny. It's just, I thought we'd have at least one good.
It's terrible.
It's all terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible, all of it.
Literally.
Anyway, so a lot of budget talks, couple more workshops. Hopefully we'll find some ways to come up with ways to keep the community pool open,
Gravel.
to keep the streets drivable, and to keep the water loss to a minimum. It's a big job. We're gonna
So-
see what we can do.
we'll do a budget workshop on the 28th, May.
Not Memorial Weekend.
Yeah, that's.
Memorial
well,
Day is the
after it,
26th Monday, the 28th is Wednesday after Memorial Day.
Right.
Somebody knows the calendar.
Wednesdays work for you now, the school's out, soccer's out there.
When's the actual budget due?
I
Yeah.
don't remember what the deadlines are. The hard deadline is the R, what's that?
August.
Yeah, August is the time we set it. But there is a date that we need to hit if we're gonna exceed the revenue neutral rate, which we probably will.
Yeah. Can we do the 4th of June?
June 4th.
I mean, May is
We
due.
have to hit.
We have, Carolyn, Brock coming, I think, on the 11th
In June,
of June.
That's the
Yes.
next city, that's the,
And that's
Next
just to
week.
plug everything into the worksheets and make sure we've got everything in the right
when
place.
when is the date you have to have the information in the county?
I thought it
I
was,
sent that out to you in an email and,
I'm gonna think a little different. I don't think it matters when we have the deadline we have to have. We need to have it done before whatever.
I know, but I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna get a couple of sessions in.
If May 28th needs to be it or June 4th, then let's get one of these days picked because it doesn't matter what it is. If we don't start somewhere, we're not gonna get it done.
why don't we do a June 4th and then maybe, and we could do before June 11th's workshop. That gives us 2. Do this workshop before the council meeting.
Then we get
Is that-
Mallory in at the most.
I think I'd rather do May 28th.
Let's go May 28th and see what kind of progress will we make
Okay.
from there. And if, we may need to just go the next
And
week
then the
also.
4th.
I'm good with May 28th,
May 28th it is. What time?
6:30.
It's fine. Everybody?
Yep.
Do we want to set another one?
See what kind of progress we make.
Okay,
I tentatively set one for June the 4th, week before council.
I think so too.
So let's just tentatively set one for June 4th, 6:30.
Just plan on being here every Wednesday until we get this budget figured out.
I think that's probably wise, move.
All right.
We've already cut out the pizza.
Right, that's gone. We
You
did that.
don't
We're
get
done,
those at
we're done.
workshops anyway. Wednesday night, you get beer on from the Thunderbird.
Okay, so workshop, the 28th, maybe the 4th.
All right, just go ahead, that's right. plan on scheduling, we'll see where we're at.
Yeah.
You wanna go, move to Rob real quick for the fire truck?
Oh, yeah, so I heard
Aye.
back from Vintage Bank at about 5 o'clock, saying that they were good with this. Your deal here,
Okay, the one that I did?
yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Well,
There's this.
I
Right.
didn't submit the
Yes.
other one.
oh, well then see, you thought he
You
was.
gotta submit that tomorrow to the county.
Yeah, so is there anything we need to modify or change, or is there anything?
No, I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know that, I don't,
Any council action need to be taken on that at all? I would think,
Very sure you're transferring an asset.
so I mean, what, before it goes to,
Vision.
is it going straight there?
yeah, you're assigning this, so yeah, you can execute that. I would imagine the county's gonna have to accept it too, but
Okay.
I only did tomorrow, so.
So it needs to be notarized. Do you have time tomorrow to come in and sign it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, by what time? By what time?
What time can you? You do it in the morning?
Mm-mm.
You do it in the afternoon?
Yes. Like, no, I can't. So I asked you by
9 o'clock in
what
the
time.
morning.
Yeah,
I think if we just get it in, signed and notarized tomorrow,
okay,
so we can get it to,
I just need to get a copy of the signed notarized copy so that I'll send it to the county and be like, hey, Vintage accepted this, here you go.
Yeah.
Whatever they have to do on there, and so be it, but, and hopefully cross your fingers, they make the payment.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised Vintage said yes to that, because the agreement didn't allow for that.
okay. So
We only go by what
need
they're
to,
telling us.
we need to do a approval of the transfer here, correct?
oh, you've approved all the transfers.
We don't need to do anything.
No, I think you're good.
Okay,
I mean, we did the bulk transfer
okay,
6
Yeah.
months ago.
okay. Here we go then.
Dotted the i's.
Good job, Rob. Got approved.
Well, we'll see. It's not across the finish line yet. but
Okay.
We'll see.
Right,
Pre-celebration. Are we done with old business?
yes.
Knew it is. All right,
The concrete
Sidewalk?
cutting, he's not gonna do that. He's got a different way. He's gonna fix the water line there, so that's all.
off. Number one, out. CMB license approval.
Where you, yeah, CMB,
Lisa's gonna tell us about.
CMB license?
yeah,
Yes, the owner of T-Bird Grill has, met all of the requirements to apply for their dealer's retail license to sell CMB on site. I have that in front of you and need your approval of this cereal malt beverage dealer's retail license and for the mayor to sign.
Make a motion, we approve the cereal malt beverage license for Thunderbird Grill LLC.
He's making the motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the CMB like cereal malt beverage license for Thunderbird Grill, effective, what, today?
Second.
Does it need an effective date?
Oh, yeah.
Today.
Sign it.
Holding it.
Yes, today.
Okay. Today's day, which is May the 14th,
May.
2025.
Oh, it says
Said May
valid May
13.
15.
Okay,
That's
May
a five?
15th, 2025.
Okay, you second it,
Second.
Jen, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, carries 5-0. Woo, oh, I get to sign it. I
Yeah,
get to
sign
print it. Oh, how fun.
you sign it,
I can't hear.
I sign it, Stetson signs it.
Okay. That's for you. T-Bird will be happy.
Leave it with you to get stuff.
Been working hard up there.
You hang on to it. All right.
Thank you. Fireworks resolution update.
Yeah, so the state changed firework dates. They've extended it. What they do, they double the time for the fireworks.
Yeah, who's shooting fireworks off
on the
fifth?
Well,
Still year round.
yeah,
They sell them year round now.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
For still year round.
It's up to local governments to decide.
yes.
You don't have to change anything.
You don't have to change anything though.
What I did was contact Wholesale Fireworks and they said, they only wish to change their hours just a small bit, giving them a little more time, I believe, on the 5th. And they didn't ask for much more than they asked for what's on the resolution to sell.
It looked like they wanted to change what it was before I asked for a change 3 years ago.
And what was your change?
So I had asked to reduce the hours on the 3rd and the 4th from midnight to 10 p.m.
No,
because there wasn't a lot of activity, and also do away with the 5th hours. But
Yeah, we did do away with the 3 hours.
But now it's 10 to 10.
Midnight though.
yeah, 10 to 10 is what well, I think 8 to 10
8
on
to
the
10
3rd,
was
the 3rd and 4th, on the 3rd and the 4th, and then none on the.
Well, that's discharge. You're saying the sale.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. that's what he
Both
said.
sell and
So it's the
discharge.
sale. Yeah, I don't think we changed the
Discharge hours.
discharge.
I don't feel like we did either.
And I really don't care anymore.
What was it before?
Hands out. Hands off. All right.
What it was
I
before.
don't. You know, unless you're in it or right involved in it, you don't really know how much this affects things. So I'm at a loss why. I suppose the July 5th,
This 04,
10 to 10.
Oh, yeah, it's not a 3.
2504.
I'm sorry, it is 2025-04. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Eddie, I don't remember.
Okay.
I just pulled it off the last one.
And I think a lot of cities are saying no to extended hours or extended days because they extended it greatly in the season. And the cities are like, we don't want to wrestle that. And fireworks warehouse, they're basically saying the same thing.
So they're not asking year-round sales.
Yeah.
So this is good. This is basically what we had with a little bit of tweak.
It said you're out, would voted for.
You would have.
Yeah, I would
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion for resolution 2025-04. As written, hours. It really only changes the midnight for the 3rd and 4th, is that right?
And then the 5th.
And the 5th. I'll make a motion for 2025-04. As written.
Second,
Second by Jen. All in favor. Did you say aye?
Yeah.
Okay. Passes.
You sign, please.
No proposing. All right. So what's next? Jetter lease agreement.
did we not do this?
Got that through.
So we had the jetter, sewer jetter, works fantastic. It has vastly more pressure and more power than the old sewer truck. So just like we did with the fire trucks and the lease agreement, the bank had us approve this resolution to enter into the agreement with the lease purchase. So
So the one that we did to buy it, doesn't cover that?
You gotta go through all the rigmarole and put it
I'm
in the
just
books.
curious.
No,
what was the question?
Well, we,
We
there
did
was a
this.
motion made to buy.
To buy it, correct.
and
but now we have to put this in that we're gonna,
But now in the lease agreement, they have a resolution that
all the
Let's do
final.
05.
to 2025-05.
Motion for resolution 2025-05 for the jetter to be financed or leased through Enterprise Bank as written.
Any second?
Second.
Second by TC, all in favor? Carries 5-0.
Time for you.
Sign please. Okay, to the Kansas franchise, gas franchise.
I think the last gas franchise agreement we had, or the last franchise agreement we had with Kansas Gas was 20 years ago. And not much has changed in that agreement. We are still receive 5% of franchise fees. So 5% of the income that they make in Towanda, we get, and that's to pay for the rights, to access our easements.
Everything's gone up.
Right, have you tried to negotiate?
I told them, I told them 10, and they said,
I mean, what happens? if we
What
don't-
happens if we don't execute the,
Five's the
rental?
maximum.
It's gonna
Five's
get
the maximum
cold.
franchise fee agreement allowed.
But we're not getting any more.
state statute.
And they'll be like, fine, you guys
That's
don't need
state
any
statute.
gas service.
Okay, and the
Oh,
rest of
well,
it, you
we'll
looked
just do
over,
propane.
good?
Like, no gas service for you.
Propane dealer over here, look
There's
at
a
all them
lot
sales
of
tax we'll get.
repetitive.
I was gonna wait for you to tell get on this one. I tried to read it because it was rough.
It
Yeah.
was rough.
What
It's a
ordinance
lot.
number? Yeah.
It's a
Fell
lot.
asleep 4 times.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
It's a lot.
that's definitely some lawyer speech. I'm not reading that.
The first sentence is 2 paragraphs long.
Right. What ordinance number?
It's called a run on.
Ordinance number is 723.
Make a motion for ordinance number 723.
12 second.
So anyway, TC, all in favor?
I
Can you say aye?
Yep.
Yes? 5-0? Hey,
Sign please.
sign please. Library board member, where's,
Through all of it.
where's Linda?
Uh,
What's the number on this one?
723.
23, kid.
Number 6.
06.
Oh,
Well, you got 2024, Dan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
yeah. We had to,
2025, right?
yeah. Which one are you on?
You're ready for the,
We're on library board. We're ready for Linda, but she's not here. We can still appoint her.
Yeah.
We just need it.
I call her
Huh?
in.
She doesn't have to be present to win.
Right, I was gonna say, she just doesn't, just as long as she agrees with it. All right, so I would like to appoint Linda to the library board, and I need your guys' approval.
I thought you already did that.
No,
Linda
she
Pyle.
is re-upping.
Linda Pyle. PYLE.
She's re-upping.
Months ago.
She expired this.
She expired,
month.
oh,
Position.
okay.
so she's back at it. She's
Okay.
a glutton for punishment.
Okay.
She's going again.
All right.
So I would like approval of my appointment,
And I vote,
certainly.
I mean,
Let me.
Well, you don't have
let
to.
me
I think
play-
it's gonna might.
She'll recuse herself from anything involved.
probably
with the director, so I'm not worried
You probably should, just for the image of it.
I don't know. You just need to vote. You mean, it's an
I need
appointment.
yeah, I just need
I'll
a
make a motion, we approve Linda Pyle for the mayor's recommendation as appointment to the library board.
Second.
all in favor.
Aye.
Carries 5-0.
And the library has had a lot of increased traffic. What,
Yes,
Oh,
busy.
since Alicia's been there, they've had like
She was at the full day picking up the
600,
forms
600 and some
Yeah.
visits.
to the library.
I saw
Where
that.
they filled out forms for cards,
She'll be good.
and she
Yeah.
brought the cards all back
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
them.
She'll be good. All.
Kicking butt. Really appreciate her report as well. So get to the library. Good things are happening.
Next one on
Right, Jan?
the agenda, the water.
They have a meeting, the 16th Friday, I'm
Oh, we gotta
cool.
do the cash bridge at least.
Yeah,
Color
we're still
kickoff.
going.
Yeah.
Summer readings coming. Okay, cash resolution. Gotta do,
Yeah, every year we have to say officially that we are not going to conform to GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles, because we operate on a cash basis and we conform to the governmental.
Do you have a different one of these?
Yes, and
Yeah, 'cause this one is not.
yeah, 2025-06.
Yeah, so in here though, it says for the year ended 2024, January 2024,
Change that one.
you got.
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, so it's
There's
2025.
one.
Yeah, 20 applied to the 2025.
You got two there.
Third paragraph, second paragraph.
Yeah, so I just copied and pasted.
Is there one right here too?
Yeah,
January right there.
or-
There's one and there's one. We'll get the years right.
What do you
It's a renewal of every year.
No, that's fine.
On the,
25.
what's the resolution number?
2025-06.
All right, so I'll need a motion
Motion.
for that.
Past 2025. 06.
Yep,
06.
Second.
with
second to my kid. Oh, with all the,
amended-
Right.
With the amendments.
Now second.
Second by Kit, all in favor,
June.
5-0.
Oh, shoot.
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 Okay, and moving on to water rate resolution.
So 07.
That one is 2025-07.
Yeah, so we had, our annual water rate adjustment from Butler Rural Water. Our rates, our current rate is $5.66 per thousand. It's increased to, $5.89, so it went up 23 cents. The figures that I propose here is just an adjustment for that price increase. No increase over and above.
No matter how much we lose. I think that's, you guys have any discussion on that? Doesn't matter what I think.
Can't change it.
Nope. Okay, I'll entertain a
I
motion.
mean, we can definitely change it.
Yeah, we can change it.
We can't
Sure.
go the right direction. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't go down, so.
Are we covering our costs?
Yes, I mean, that's,
But the answer to that is no.
well, no, not completely, no.
Right.
We did, so this out, Cammy and I put together all the information that's needed to do a water and sewer rate analysis. That's being done for us by the Kansas Rural Water Association. No cost. Basically, they go through and look at our expenses and income, water costs, and see how comparable we are with other cities and with future planning.
You know how long that'll take to get back?
We're hoping to have that back before the next budget workshop.
Can we do this the next one?
That's what I'm wondering. Does it have to be?
I'm good.
Well, it kicks in, our costs go up on June 1st.
This is at the beginning.
This says
of
effective July 5th, 2025.
But then it says,
But the rural
Rural water-
water just go up June 1.
Right, yes. But what I'm saying is
June
this,
1.
this resolution would not take effect until July the 5th, the next bill.
Right. Correct.
So we can
It would-
hopefully see that.
The price increase would go out on the June 5th bill.
We can hopefully see that analysis and then
Hopefully.
have a little more knowledge about just what we actually have to do, not what we want to do, what we have.
that's
to
pretty
do
tight though.
On the,
Yeah, is that gonna give?
That's pretty
enough time to
tight.
get all the adjustments made in the system?
Cause we've already done May bill. This is gonna be out on June 5th bill.
July 5th.
Well, maybe.
Well,
maybe
June
I'm-
1st, they start charging us, so the next,
Maybe I'm confused, but it's saying that our rate increase is effective June 1st. And the rate increase to the customer becomes effective July 5th.
That's when the next.
That's
bill
on the
comes
July
back.
5th bill.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So,
Billing's a month behind.
yeah,
right, I understand that, but why would we not be able to approve this at the meeting? How about June to be
Question.
effective on
On
that
Which would
bill?
cost us 1 month.
that's just what I was figuring.
He's
On
figuring.
a 1.5 million gallons, which is
Rough.
rough, it's about $345.
Why wouldn't you just approve this now?
I was about to
If you get
say.
information between now and next month that you can adopt the resolution that changes it,
yeah, let's do it that
be
way.
effective July.
There's no reason to lose. Just put this into effect. If we need to raise it and we see something serious after that analysis comes in, we will bring this back to the table.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 25-07.
Any second.
I'll say,
Second by Mike. All in favor? 5-0. All right,
Put it in the count.
we're moving right along. Community building fee and policies ordinance. Next.
So we've never had a city ordinance
Water and.
that sets the community building fees or policies. They were created and we ran with it. Lisa compiled this ordinance. This is why it's an ordinance, not a resolution, to make these fees change, because there never was an ordinance. Once this one is adopted, then to change the fees is by resolution.
Got it.
What's the ordinance number?
Ordinance number is
Sorry.
724.
Thank you.
724. So right now we're at $75 a day for residents and $150 for people who live out of town. We're proposing that goes to $100 a day per resident. However, we have had issues in the past where people have rented it, and not frequently, but where people have rented it for one day. They pick up the key the day before and they move in that night, the night before, which they haven't rented that day. And Lisa's got to get in and clean. So our proposal is, let's work out a compromise, put it at $100. And if you want the day before, then it's $50 more.
Is it because they can't get there Saturday to get the key? Is that why we're doing the key pickup then? I'm
It's because they
assuming
want set
Friday,
up for their Saturday event.
But we can
and-
get them. They can meet at the
Yeah,
same.
we
Well, they can come get the key, but then don't go set up.
Right.
You
so
don't
how do
have the
we-
building unless you rent it.
how
She
do
can't get in
we
there to clean.
Give them
because
the
people
key
are
and make
setting
sure
up.
They don't set up.
Well,
Well, that key isn't the issue. It's they're in her way.
Well, if they don't have the key, though, they can't be in her way.
Exactly.
Okay, but we don't need to have people on overtime giving keys out when they can get the key and not be in the way.
But is there another way that we can do it where somebody get a key? And that way, yeah, electronic lock.
Yeah,
or
we
something,
did.
Because, I mean, if they come get the key, we're
And that
kind of giving them
eliminates the
permission at that
issue,
point to
yes.
have that, to have that building.
Well,
I mean, if
not realistically.
What's your opinion, Rob?
Once you have keys to a house, it's yours.
About what? If they pick up a key on a Friday
theory.
evening, if we allow them to have the key, is there any implied relationship they can go ahead and move in on Friday evening?
Not such implied that if you should have a rental
yeah,
agreement.
we have a rental agreement that says this is
You
the
gotta have
day.
this on this time, so yeah. But with that being said, there are very economically affordable options for electronic keypad locks.
Yeah.
That not only that, you give them codes that change like in 24 hours, it's automatically usable. anymore.
That's a better idea than the keys anyway, because then you don't get the keys
I'd like
back.
to see us go to that on most of the city buildings. But that's down the road.
I guess my hard thing is, and I mean, $100 isn't a lot, but I get wanting to go in the night before, especially if you have an earlier.
Yeah, I do too.
Go
And that's-
set up and
And that's my point is if you want to do that, cool. We'll give you a reduced rate for that additional time.
Yeah, and then Lisa knows that she needs to get it the day before. So I think it's fair. This is like a good meet in the middle. Because that is people call me and say, Jen, we just wanted to set up and we need that day. I'm like, well, did you rent that day? Well, no. Well, okay, but so how are we supposed to clean? Or if somebody else rented that day, are they gonna be out in time? I'm like, this isn't for, either rent it or you don't. Pretty simple. So I mean, if it were me, I'd be like $100, and if you want that day, it's another $100. But 50 is fair. It's a community building. We're here all to get along. Up to y'all.
I don't think we're not gonna agree on this one, Jen.
You want $100 or you want to give it away?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, you haven't said which one.
yes, well,
All right, we'll come up with something
Somebody
that
else
we
does.
can all agree on.
no, it's.
I'm gonna let you field the calls.
Okay, nobody knows one number, it's fine.
Or the
So we're gonna
Uh,
get the keypad entry.
It'll be published.
keypad entry is a good idea in general. I like that. It's just a good
I think
idea in
it's the
general.
greatest
To quit
idea.
passing around keys. That is something we could do.
Activated at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, and they go in there as early as they want to, but you don't have to come get the key on Friday.
And then you don't have someone meeting them
Yeah, you
Saturday
don't.
for overtime?
Yeah, that way you don't have arguments over, well, we wanna go ahead and go in, we've got the key. Activation code doesn't begin.
And that goes for Sunday too, because then they go in on
Or
Sunday because they
Sunday,
still have the
whatever
key
day you're
till
talking.
Monday. And then we play that game. They're in there Sunday all day, but not all day, but probably cleaning up and getting their stuff.
Well.
Even though they're supposed to be out by Saturday. So
But then
here we go with,
8 to 8, midnight to midnight.
what do you want to do
whatever.
on the fees? Do you agree with what Andy's written up?
Yeah,
Yes.
make a motion to adopt the ordinance 724 as written with $100 per day, 150 if you needed the extra hour or whatever.
I'll second that.
Yes, all in favor? You eyed?
Yeah.
Okay, by the, you eyed or, all righty.
Ahead of March.
So do we need We can talk about procuring all those things electronic when we have money. How about?
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list of things to do. Street condition survey. This is what I was talking about. Was
Yeah. But again, I just had the guys go through so that we could get an idea as to how much damage we need to repair. And this is not taking into account, this is as is right now. That doesn't take into account any water line repair, for the future. There's a lot of gravel. Also, city ordinance says, or city code says that we can't have gravel streets in the city limits yet. For some reason, we pulled out Highland there between 10th and 11th. And that needs to be put back.
Bigelow, we've got some gravel,
Yes.
other places.
This one,
the libraries? Has it ever been? No,
What's it?
the library's never been anything but gravel in front of the library.
It's.
No, it's
maybe
paved.
now.
Yeah, that's
fine.
paved.
I think what this is,
Oh,
library is confusing.
what?
I think it's clear down there past the,
That's what I'm
Playground.
talking about. Okay. I'm like,
Up to
wait,
the-
what?
the old ball diamond.
Yeah.
Come around back.
And it is the driveway.
I thought it was a driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I,
Yeah. So basically that is a street. The street that leads up to Hummel's house. So it is literally a city street, so we gravel it. Instead of paving it.
okay. So we have 2 bads, the rest are terrible,
Mm-hmm. 2 gravel.
and 3 gravels or 2 gravels.
Yeah, only too bad. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, 2 gravels, 2 bads, the rest are terrible.
Even just out in front here, 3rd Street from Main that way, it's beginning to break up like crazy. So in all these streets, once we have a plan to rebuild the streets, once the streets get rebuilt, then we need to go on a regular chip sealing plan. Some kind of chip sealing, some kind of sealant that we do every 5 years or every however long.
I
They
think
used
it's
to,
minimum 5 is the longest, isn't it? You can wait.
yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I don't know that for sure, but I thought that's what we were told on.
And talking with the county, they were on track to chip seal Main Street a couple of years ago, and that had to get put on hold. But he came out, looked at the streets and said, there are a few streets in town that you could chip seal right now, but the majority of you, they would have to be rebuilt or fixed at least, or stabilized in some way, get them chip sealed.
what this shows me is Clay Hill is not the top priority. That's what we talked about before.
Yeah.
That's what it shows.
Yeah. And again, if you look at traffic wise, Clay Hill Road does not have the traffic that a lot of the other streets have. And the county, I can't have the county come out and do a traffic count,
The
but
next page on Clay
Never
Hill.
mind.
Yep, you see it.
Just found the next page.
Like it's the whole
Clay
page.
Hill catches the bus traffic, the township shop traffic. And
And
a lot,
the
there's a lot of traffic dropping
Trash.
kids off at school and picking them up.
yeah,
trash truck, school traffic.
Yeah.
Trash, and all the, I mean, coming off the highway, that gets you to the back of town. I mean, that's
Yes.
just another route. I feel like,
Horses.
I mean, I don't know, we'll have to do some prioritizing, but this is more in budget talks too.
I've got a question.
Sure.
Of course, we had a plan and it went down the tubes
Yep,
3 years ago. Had a good plan worked out.
pretty good.
We're talking, where are we at with 254 and River Valley roads?
so I had a meeting with, David Sykes, KDOT, and, several of the engineers with JEO. David Sites has a program funded up to $2 million. He said if we wanted to run with that program, they could probably get the road done or construction rolling, at least at most by this time next year. However, we've got to pay design fees,
And what's-
permitting fees.
What's that estimate?
That's what JEO is working on right now.
Why are we even involved in
That's a good question.
that? Whose approach road goes coming from the north, from the south to 254? That's county road, right?
Mhm.
On River Valley. Going north, it's a county road. East and west, it's a state highway. Is any of the property on either side of River Valley Road in the city limits?
No.
Why are we even involved in it? Why is the county commission not taking care
So the county commission is waiting on me to get cost figures from JEO.
of it? Okay, I guess again, my question is, why are we even in the middle of it? I mean,
Well-
it's a time consuming effort.
We are in the middle of it because it's the entrance to our town. I mean, our residents are in.
It's our citizens dying at that
I
intersection.
understand.
We seem to be the only ones that care.
Well, then we're not raising enough stakes somewhere.
Mike has a good point though, is that we're doing the legwork, we're doing all the
Yeah,
busy
that's-
work, and they're like, hey, give us this report, we need our stuff so we can maybe make a move,
You know, but
which,
if
is
they cover
fine.
if they cover the design costs, I'll do the legwork.
right, I'm saying it's fine if it gets the motion, if things rolling. If we can get the ball rolling, I'm good with that too, but for them to be, I mean, some of that is they've got engineers.
I
And
mean, we,
they have, to me, they hold the liability of that road, and here we are scrambling to do the work to try to,
and I understand the philosophy. Yeah, I think it's terrible. I think something has to be done, but it seems like we're always taking, somebody wants to throw us the monkey, we're taking the monkey and not throwing it back to the county and saying, hey, look, you raise enough stink and somebody up there is going to wake up and say, oh crap, we better do something with this, or, it's going to hit the press and it's going to hit every place else. And,
Well, and my thought on it is why is anybody but KDOT paying anything? Because we didn't design the road.
well, you got part of
They
it,
designed the road.
part of it that is a county road. So I can almost see that, but we're spending time and effort and money. No money, no appreciable money other than labor and wages at this point to deal with that problem. But we've got Sixth Street that fire department says is a hazard in and of itself anytime you have to drive a truck down there.
Yeah.
That we're not out here jumping up and down trying to figure out how to mitigate that problem. I just,
But we are on that. I mean, I'm not jumping up and down, but we're
not
working on
yet,
it.
not yet.
So we're kicking that down the road a bit because we're water line crisis, that kind of thing. But JEO has talked with KDOT and their cost share program where, and the KDOT seems to think that's a very valuable road to fix. Not only with paving it, but widening it and putting sidewalks on it. So the kids can get up and down it instead of going down the road, which is, I mean, it's a main thoroughfare for kids. Yeah. Because
traffic, people, I'm assuming that probably the biggest area in town for a disastrous fire would be a mobile home park if something would happen. And actually, our access points are limited. There's one way in and one way out there pretty much, unless you go gallons, half acre and come back around. And I don't
Let's
think
hit our
either
head
one of
on
you,
the
I don't
fire
think
truck.
either one of you guys wants to be packing water down in the,
Us hitting our head inside of a fire truck because we bounce over something
yeah.
is one thing. Somebody getting hit out here is a
I'm
whole other
not,
ballgame.
I'm not arguing that.
And that's where I'm at with it. I mean, if we have to do a
There's
little
something-
legwork to
There's
help.
nothing in the works on
That's what we need to do.
Sixth Street, then, maybe a little more transparency in what's going on would be a good idea.
well, but I have talked about this in past council meetings about JEO talking about, we have discussed this in council meeting.
Yeah, about we're trying to get the safe streets. We're trying to get grants, but we gotta get water fixed before we start tearing up streets or fixing streets. So one
How do
thing
we
has to
pay
come to
for
the,
Delay with the railroad on Sixth Street.
There you
right.
go. That was part of that
So
discussion.
there's all of that in play. However, the jumping up and down may need to happen for at least the highway to say, let's see what we can do. And I don't mind doing any legwork for the county to get it moving, or the state, so we can get it moving. But how about everybody do what they need to do to get it moving?
If you want to do the legwork, that's fine, but let's get the county on board, get them to make a commitment, get something moving. If they could get started within a year to rectify the problem, then let's put some heat on somewhere.
I think they're just saying, control what you can control. And I think that's what Andy's trying to do at this point.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
All right.
facts. Okay. What else? You got some more, Mikey?
No, I'm trying to figure out what we can do for any streets until there's not a whole lot we can do in town until we figure out what water lines we're gonna do first.
And then we gotta figure out how to pay for the streets.
Gotta figure out to get water, you gotta figure out, it's gonna be a combined effort and
And maybe you figure replacing some of those streets in with the cost of the water project.
Yeah.
Put it into
With the sales tax,
Whatever.
with the sales tax too?
Sales tax.
Yeah, and then, instead of 1 cent, we could do 1.5 cents, maybe.
Well, and I think, you got a second sale, you got two sales tax issues. One that you wanted to propose to do the water situation, then we've got another one that sunsets, and I think we ought to reevaluate that one, and then it should be earmarked for specific things, i.e. streets.
Specific things.
Yeah.
Yes. The last wording of the thing was not real.
No, it was, what was presented in the council meeting and what we were told as far as, what we relate to citizens was not what wound up being the end plan, exactly, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotta be pretty specific if we're gonna start asking for more.
I think that would be I mean, you're putting $180,000 into the general fund. If you could earmark specifically, this percent for streets, whatever.
I showed up.
Okay, doke, let's move to new business.
I don't have any.
None. And public comment now. Anybody have anything?
I have a new contractor.
Nice, very nice.
Yes, come on up.
Thank you, guys. My name is Roberto. I'm a general contractor, commercial and residential builder in different, probably 8 or 9 cities in Kansas. It's kind of my fault because Mr. Johnson's in this situation because I pulled the permit the first time and missed the story. And so I got busy and then I got sick. So he got to rely on somebody else that he trusted. You know what happened. So I'm have some time in my schedule to take over this project. I agree with you. An analysis is necessary in that building because the building codes are changing. So whatever was done previously and after what happened, it needs to be updated. So that's what we're gonna do.
Great,
We have 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Right, perfect. If I'll get it done in a month and a half, buy me pizza.
Right around the corner.
I can even use some local hand, some people with knowledge here that they can help me. I have my team, but just to be giving something back in the community, we can help people that they want to help.
That's great news.
And any project that I get, it doesn't matter where, I give a percentage of the proceeds for local shelters, animals, pets, everything.
Okay,
All right?
even
Thank
better.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa has my contact information. I just need a favor. When I pull the permit, I think I pull it off. So is that fee settled or do I have to pay?
I'll have to look, can you contact me tomorrow during office hours?
I'll do that. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have something.
Sure.
They should call me back on the gas for 319 East Main. I'm trying to get gas service. And why is it rejected, you told me?
Sorry, I'm sitting by this,
I checked it.
this air.
You called me back for rejection because Tim looked at it and said it didn't.
Oh, the pressure test on the gas line.
Yeah, air pressure test.
The pressure test did not pass. So,
I
you
just
need,
looked at it. It was 28 pounds. It's
Yeah.
okay.
contact me tomorrow during my office
Yeah.
hours and I can talk with you then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a question for tomorrow.
Well, I just want something like rejected because it's still short of 20 pounds. That's why my question. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, Kurt Reeves, Wanda. Rob is working. 2 weeks ago, he came out to pictures I already sent to Andy from December for my building, so it's still in process, still not fixed. So it won't be no carry, just for 6 months. My building was damaged, but not fixed. The other one is a follow up to you guys on our last meeting. Kind of a general topic is maybe it's about time for a Chamber of Commerce. You're passing ordinances that aren't achieving what your goal is. You said you're tired of Main Street looking abandoned. The ordinance isn't going to do that. You guys keep wanting to butt heads with everybody. There's no working with people. We hear the sales tax maybe go from 1% to 1.5%. We don't know what that might do. How does Gambino's feel? How does Myers feel? Is raising it actually lower sales tax income? Last month I came in and asked for simply some more parking spots. Andy and I talked about it, and then he doesn't seem to remember it. We talked about it in front of the old gas station. We can add 4 spots pretty easy. We went out with chalk, we marked them and measured it. We did it right before it rained. That way we weren't, making spots and getting in trouble. 4 spots could be 4 families of 4. Could be 50 more bodies at night. That's a lot more revenue, a lot more sales tax dollars. It's a pretty simple ask and was pretty much shot down immediately. No thought, nothing. If you guys want to see downtown developed, we're just working with people because there's no outreach or anything ready type. I've had people come in and I've done a couple business models. I did one 2 weeks ago for someone that wants to start a business downtown. I'm willing to sit down with anybody, but there's no interaction with the city to try to get anything going. So that's my thing here is if you want to see downtown developed, why are we not trying to develop? Print out some pictures. We have the parking spots. So you guys put on your fridge, throw in the trash, whatever, but it's about time for Chamber of Commerce if you want something to develop. Just passing an ordinance isn't gonna make it happen. The second one picture is we have a city official on personal business not parking in lines anyway. So make it legal every single morning, just not parking anyway. So enforceability, the police think it's just fine. So when people have their guns at the community center, people can kind of park there if they want because it's not enforced. People are allowed to just park wherever every single morning for personal business. So I'm looking at is you guys really want to develop. I asked this like a year ago with Kendall, and Kendall was the only one that spoke to it. It's about time. If you want businesses, we need some kind of Chamber of Commerce or something, not just passing an ordinance and pushing on to people that it doesn't even apply to. We all got letters and didn't apply to any of us that carry buildings on you. So I got some pictures. I just like you guys to think about it. About if you want to develop, it takes more than just passing an ordinance, and that's it. Walking away from it. So, and that's you guys. And I'm sure most will throw it away. I don't have enough, so I'm sure Rob will be all right. Chamber of Commerce. I'm hiring 2 kids just because they want jobs this summer. I'd be willing to sponsor a lifeguard. If we had a Chamber of Commerce, maybe Gambino's will sponsor a lifeguard. That we have money problems, Chamber of Commerce can get creative and say, hey guys, Myers, whoever else, why don't we sponsor kids, keep the pool going? If we don't have money for it, we'll pay for a lifeguard. So just like to see something happen and maybe have a little bit of support rather than just ordinance thrown.
Anybody else?
I do have one other thing.
Okay. No executive session scheduled. Andy's got another issue.
Well, just an update on the gas station, KDHE. KDHE finally approved, where we're going to land farm the dirt. They got that, excuse me, they got that approved, I guess, Monday. We're gonna do it just south of on the southeast corner of the lagoon property. And for the city using or allowing KDHE to use that, KDHE is giving, the city $6,000 to use that property. So once all that gets kind of finalized, it sounds like it's just about ready to roll. So it won't take long for them to get the dirt out and put the dirt back in. So it's getting closer.
Great.
Add the workshop to the list.
What?
All these lists.
The list, added to the list of things that we need to do.
This,
Anything else?
That's it.
we're gonna do a workshop on what to do there.
Does anybody on the council have a comment? Question? Anything to talk about? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Taken by Mike. All in favor? 5-0.
So.
Thank you all.
I got picture of the agenda, so it looks like. I decided.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, we have our audit tomorrow.
One room.
Now they come in,
The other day,
do the audit.
what? Guess where the bridge is? We're down here.
I was like, I would
I
make bridge on
I
the
can take a footbridge, but it's a culvert. Way down
Coming.
here.
James had to get him.
Sorry, I didn't.
No,
He had to get him. He needed him.
I was like, I don't wait.
Actually,
I'm like, I'm missing, whatever.
I helped out with Funny a couple of Saturdays ago,
Fun.
and people are talking. I can't hear one.
And I hear between Mike, Lisa, and you, my mom, my dad, and James. You can't hear anything. Smarty.
I didn't know how. I gotta look because it resonates so
That's
bad.
okay, here's North
Street.
This is eight.
Basically, this is my house right here. I took my hearing aids out so I wouldn't get the feedback.
That's supposed to be gravel?
When I got them in.
At one time, it went all the way around. in
Have a good
December,
night.
Yeah,
But that's a long time ago.
Because we
yeah.
were.
So since we, since this has never been gravel, we will pave that, but we assess the cost of that to the homeowners on either
I
side.
can actually hear the attorney when he leans over the whispers. You can hear the.
No, I'm not looking for it to be paved. I'm just saying. There's several streets here.
Yeah,
It's a driveway, to
Right.
my knowledge, that
Yeah.
granted, we we let the power and everybody else come in, they're entitled to
yeah,
that. I'm not fighting that,
yeah.
but I'm just asking, was it supposed to be paved?
They yawn in the cave. I'm like.
Because
I don't know. I'm asking.
maybe yes, maybe no, because that was the access to the water tower.
Yep.
I don't know that.
Yep.
I think
So-
we should go and consult my-
One time, so we don't use it for that anymore.
No, and then this here, like you say, this alleyway here is the main,
I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, that is part of the street.
Yeah.
This is,
Really, really.
yeah, that's an alleyway there,
Yes.
but yeah.
I've had to go literally spastic on takeoffs. I've had to do.
Jen?